Welcome on in to Sports Memo Today, your favorite spot to get actionable information in 30 minutes or less. And I definitely take the under today because we have another just one guest joining us here on Sports Memo Today. Why not ring in the new year with one of the best football handicappers when you're talking about top-rated plays that we have seen this season? It's an all Dan edition, as I'm your host here, Dan Alexander, and I'll be joined by one of my favorites, Dan Kaiser. We're going to talk a little college basketball. We're going to talk a little NFL. And Dan is one of our $2 Tuesday handicappers. You can get a top-rated NFL play from him for just $2 or up the ante. Go crawling through the couches, see if you can find any change, and up it to $5. Get a play from Tim Michael and the Insiders Room. We'll be talking with Nick Parsons from the Insiders Room on Thursday. But we have plenty to get into before we start talking about Thursday's edition. So let's welcome in our guest for today. You can find him on sportsmemo.sm.buzz/DK. It's the great Dan Kaiser. And Happy New Year, Dan. Always love when we have an all Dan edition here. How's it been going, my guy?
It's going good. Happy New Year's to you too. And well, I'm glad you say that because for a minute I'm starting to get a complex because it seems like every time we're on, it's just us two. And I think, man, I don't know. I haven't been on Sports Memo a long time. I didn't think I could make that many enemies that quick, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, when they see the rundown, they're like, man, that might be just too much Dan for me to handle between those two guys. That's for sure. So, Dan, I say we get right into it. Talk to hardwood
Sure.
because we know already about what a great football season you've had. But as college basketball goes on, it's been seeing it a little bit better as we've rolled. And tonight we have a game going at 6:30 Eastern time tonight. It's a tip between Marquette and St. John's. Total in this one floating right around 156. But you're more interested in the side. Looks like Marquette's anywhere from a 2.5 point favorite if you can shop around. So how are you going to be betting this one? We looking towards the favorite, or is there a barking dog on the floor tonight?
No, I'm going to be with the favorite in this one. I'm going to lay the points for Marquette. I mean, Marquette's 11-4 this season right now, and right now they've been playing really good basketball. They're 8-2 over the last 10, and in those 8 wins, they've been beating some pretty good teams. Probably the best team they've beaten over that stretch is Baylor, and they're getting it done on the defensive end. In the last few games, they've not given up more than 70 points in the last 4 games. St. John's, they're one of those teams that started out the season hot at 8-0, but early season college basketball, a lot of times you're not playing some great competition, and now that they've gotten into conference season, they've struggled as of late. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 2-3 in their last 5. They haven't covered in their last 3. And they're just not shooting the ball well at this point, and that's been probably their biggest problem at this point in the season. Marquette, on the other hand, they've covered 4 of their last 5. Like I said, they've won 5 out of their last 6. They're playing really well right now. I just think right now Marquette just has too much on the offensive end for St. John's to keep up with, and they're just a lot better on the defensive end at this point in time. And I think they'll slow down St. John's, and you'll see a road cover here in the Big East with Marquette.
Little road chalk action. Marquette laying the 2, and it's looking like there's also some market support potentially for this Marquette side. So you might want to go and grab that 2 as we speak here. But it doesn't mean close out the browser because we still have another game to chat here. And as we look towards the NFL, Dan, NFL, when you really like a play and you put it as one of your top-rated plays, 75% winning percentage on these 5%ers for you, and I believe you have one loaded for tonight, correct?
Yeah, I do. It's like $2 on Tuesday play. The NFL right now, it's I like to call it kind of like the silly season, the weird season because it's the last week. You got to look at motivation. You got to look at who's playing for something, who's not playing for anything. And does it get any weirder than after what happened in last night's NFL game? And my thoughts go out. My thoughts go out on for the player in that one.
Yeah.
So and that just throws a new wrinkle into the whole NFL the last week of the season. Are those two teams going to play and when? But I'm looking at this Minnesota-Chicago game, and again, it's one of those games. Chicago doesn't have anything to play for, and I listen to a lot of Chicago sports talk stations, and here's the thing. After last week of what happened to Justin Fields against the Lions, he got beat up pretty bad. That offensive line was terrible. They lost a couple guys off of that offensive line. There's a lot of talk that they're not going to play Fields. Why risk the future of your franchise in a game that means nothing? I mean, they've lost 9, 10 in a row. They're not, they're guaranteed either the number 1 to number 4 pick. Why waste your franchise quarterback behind that offensive line? But there's also things of thought. To let him play 65 yards, 69 yards away from the rushing title for quarterbacks for a year to go over Lamar Jackson. But I'm looking at it this way. Even if he does play, I think they may play him, let him get his 65 yards. He could get that on the first play from scrimmage, and then I don't think he'll see action the rest of the way. To be honest, that organization can't risk him getting hurt. I look at this Minnesota team. The king of the one score games. Either they win a game by that's by 1 score or less, or they get blown out. So I don't think they're going to get blown out in this game. I don't think it really matters who's going to play. If Cousins doesn't go the full game, I don't think it's going to matter because Bears defense can't stop anybody, and they've rested. Again, they've rested a lot of their best players on defense. They put them on IR because basically they've given up on this season. So I like the Vikings in this one. And I think the Vikings, they've done this in the past with other coaches. They rest all their best players on the last week of the season, and then they go into the playoffs and they struggle. I think you're going to see the starters play a lot in this one. I think you're going to see them trying to get some momentum going on that offense that can either be really good or really bad. It's only laying 4. It kind of falls right in the Vikings' wheelhouse here. And like I said, I just don't think the Bears care in this one. And I think they're going for number 1 or number 2 pick. So I like the Vikings to cover the floor in this one.
Liking the Vikings in the bounce back spot, and an all Dan edition and an all road chalk edition on the free plays that we're getting from our guy Dan Kaiser. We're looking towards Marquette this evening, taking on St. John's, and then a Sunday special for you, the road favorite minus 4-point favorites. It's looking like now with the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Bears. 2 free plays for you. Dan, we mentioned that you have your $2 Tuesday play locked and loaded on a 75% hit rate on these NFL 5% plays. When people head on over to your page to grab that, what else are they going to find over there? Anything else that you're eyeing, and how they can be rocking with you?
Yeah, today it'll just be that play. I'll get that up today. But then I'll have my national championship game. That'll be posted probably by tomorrow or early Thursday. Right now, I'm on a great totals run in the bowl season. I kind of was hoping bowl season didn't end the way I'm hitting that right now. I'm at like 20. I'm up like 29% in totals. So yeah, that's going really well. Yeah, and then everybody would think that football is winding down, college football is over. You get a break, but we don't get a break. Now you just jump head first into the college basketball, NHL, and NBA. So you'll see more of those plays popping up now since football season is winding down. As I usually take the early season off for those, and now it's head first into those sports now.
Yeah, if you thought there was any off season for my man Dan Kaiser, you're sorely mistaken. TNDO, take no days off. And if you want to ride with him for the entire year, a terrific special that we worked up over at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. So we're calling it the Ring In 2023 special, where you're getting 23% extra access on top of all access passes, all sports passes of 30 days or more. So just like a quick breakdown for you, grab a 30-day all access from Dan, you get an additional 7 days for free tacked onto your access. You can up that to a 90-day and get 22 days for free. Or you can get the whole kit and caboodle. Why not ride with one of the hottest handicappers for a year? And what does that get you? How about 84 additional free days? So basically, for you mathematicians out there, that means you grab an all sports, all access for a year and you get access through March Madness. No, not this year's March Madness. I'm talking 2024. So one of the best deals that we've had in quite some time. You can use it both at sportsmemo.com and wagertalk.com for any handicapper, and no code is needed. Just grab that All Sports All Access pass. It needs to be a 30-day or more pass there, and I would act quickly because you heard that college football play that Dan was going to be posting up. This deal is only available until the day of the national championship game. That's January 9th at midnight. This deal expires, so you're going to want to take advantage of it now. Huge thanks to Dan being our lone guest here to ring in the new year. Not sure on when you cap being able to say Happy New Year, but at least for today's show, it's January 3rd. So hopefully you're having a Happy New Year to start off the year. And if you enjoy the show, just hit that like button. And of course, January. Yeah, thanks. Eric always keeping my back and having my back. We get excited here. So January 3rd, of course. It literally says it right next to me. Well done. So you heard the experts. You heard the show. Make sure you hit a like button. Make sure you drop that subscribe so you never miss any of our great shows here at Sports Memo TV and Wager Talk TV. That's going to do it for us. For Dan Kaiser, for the terrific Eric behind the scenes, I'm Dan Alexander, and we will see you this January 5th here on Sports Memo Today. Thursday, I'll be joined by Nick Parsons in the Insider's Room, only here on Sports Memo Today.